Hi friend, this is Professor Prashant. Today we'll start with what are the common mistakes students are doing when they study physics. So if we start with chapter wise, in first chapter the common mistake is conversion from centimeter to meter or kgf to Newton, right? So if they ask, say force is given in Newton, perpendicular distance is given in centimeter, and they want torque, moment of force. So there you have to convert that centimeter to meter, that is divide by 100. That is one thing. Then direction is also you have to mention whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise, right? That is towards left, towards right, all that part. Then there are some numericals based on say center of gravity. So what they are saying, a uniform meter rule, right, is balanced at certain points. Then find the weight of the meter rule. Now whenever they say uniform meter rule, its center of gravity is always at 50 centimeter mark, and that is a fixed. So there the entire weight of the body get balanced. So we'll get F1 equal to something, whatever it is, F1 is equal to something kgf or gf. And if they asked mass, then mass is always in either gram or is in kg, right? So you can't write there is gf or kgf. So if you are writing word mass and you are writing this unit as kgf or gf, that is wrong. So mass is there, then answer must be in either kg or in gram, right? That is the one thing. Now in all numericals, it is not necessary to convert say from kgf to Newton, because there are some questions where they are in equilibrium. So F1 is in kgf, L1 is in centimeter, F2 is in kgf, and L2 they want in centimeters. So there is no need to convert. But when you substitute the values, get the proper answer, write the proper unit, whatever is required, right? That is one thing. Now when we go with the next chapter, second chapter, the main problem over here, they will give you force, but that force will be in kgf. So you have to convert that kgf to Newton. That is, to convert from kgf to Newton, you have to multiply by g. Now g value will be given either as Newton or in given as kgf, right? That is the one thing. Then displacement generally they will give in centimeter. So you have to convert that from centimeter to what? Meter, right? That is one thing. Next, answer. When you write answer, suppose energy is there, so energy will be always in joule. You can't write in plural form, joules, right? It should be in joule. Then one more thing, suppose angle is given. Suppose angle is given, first case angle is given as 0, case angle is given as 90, case angle is given as 60. So there you have to substitute the value, W is equal to Fs cos theta. So theta ka value will be cos 0, cos 90, cos 60, all that part that you have to consider. Now next part will be what? Suppose energy is given in say kilojoule. Now when you have energy given in kilojoule, you have to convert that kilojoule to joule. So multiply by 1000. It sometimes they want answer will be in say horsepower. There are some questions where power they want answer in horsepower. So 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watt. So initially you get power is equal to work upon time, then answer will be in watt. Then to convert from watt to horsepower, you have to divide by 746. So you have to divide and get the answer in HP, right? Or there are some questions where P is equal to F into V. Power is given in kilowatt, right? They want velocity, and force is given in what? Newton, right? Force is Newton. You have to convert that kilowatt to watt, and then P is equal to F into V. From there you get V is equal to something meter per second. Next part is about the chapter. In the second chapter only, there are some sums based on what? Efficiency. Their power output is given. Say power output is given as 1 megawatt. Mega is 10 raised to 6 watt. You have to convert that part into watt. Then in some numerical they are giving a water of 50 liter. Now liter is a volume, right? Liter is what? Volume. Now many teachers are saying that you can write directly volume is 50 liter, therefore mass is 50 kg. You can't write that part. It is not proper, right? It is not according to physics. Now volume is given in liters, so you have to convert that into meter cube. Say 50 liter is 50 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube. Now since we know density is mass upon volume, the mass will be volume into density. And then their volume is 50 into 10 raised to minus 3. Density is 10 raised to 3. So that 10 raised to minus 3 plus 3 cancel. So your mass will be 50 kg, right? But you have to do this process, then only you can write this mass is 50 kg. Right, now next there are some sums where energy is given in electron volt. So to convert from electron volt to joule, you are multiplying by 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 90. Same thing, they want answer in kilowatt hour. So to convert from joule to kilowatt hour, you have to divide by 3.6 into 10 raised to 6. Right? Okay. Now we'll go with the machine chapter. Machine chapter, generally the conversions are not that great. But in machine, we have some numericals where they are based on, in part, especially in part B. Part B, the numericals based on pulley system, right? Block and tackle. So there, what is velocity ratio? Velocity ratio is total number of pulleys in both the blocks provided effort is in downward direction. That is total number of pulley in both the blocks, right? That is velocity ratio. Now what is mechanical advantage? It is equal to number of strands of tackle supporting load, right? That is number of strands of tackle supporting load. That is your mechanical advantage. Now, the one thing here I want to say, when you draw diagram for pulley, that is the most of the students are doing blunder in this part. Now, what is that mistake? Say when you draw block and tackle system, you have to draw your pulley with the help of rounder. You have to use scale to draw your tackle. Now freehand diagram, say when I was drawing, it was freehand diagram. But since here on board it is difficult for me to use every time scale, so I was doing with freehand. But still the diagrams was proper. But when you draw this diagram for exam point of view, you have to use your scale, pencil and rounder, right? The attachment of hook is very important. When you are drawing these diagrams, you just take care that load is at down and you are putting arrow there. Effort is in downward direction, right? And all tensions will be in upward direction. You have to mention that this is a rigid support. Upper block is attached to a rigid support. You have to mention that this is a rigid support, right? When you draw diagrams, that's it for this third chapter. When you go with the fourth chapter, the common mistake is that suppose they have given, say velocity is in, say speed of light in diamond is given as 1,25,000 km per second. So you have to convert that from kilometer to meter per second, that is multiplied by 1000, right? That is one thing. Suppose they have a numerical V is equal to F into lambda. They want frequency. Then you have to convert your wavelength is in meter. So what is the conversion? 1 angstrom is equal to 10 raised to minus 10 meter. That is a conversion, right? Now the next part where the students are doing blunder is the diagrams, re-diagram. Say very first diagram is a lateral displacement diagram, block diagram. Block. When a ray of light is passed through a glass block, find the draw the necessary diagram and show the lateral displacement. So when you draw that lateral displacement, light is incident obliquely. When the light is incident obliquely, just take care that when you are going from rarer to denser, it is bending, your ray of light bend towards normal. And when you are going from denser to rarer, that is from glass to air, it is bending away from normal, right? Then your emergent ray and the path of incident ray has to be parallel. So if they are not parallel, that means your diagram is wrong. You will get 0 mark for that. Then in lateral displacement, when you show that XY is the lateral displacement, you have to show that 90-degree mark, right, at the two places, X and Y. Then you have to show angle of deviation when you show this lateral displacement also, that delta is equal to I minus R. Now what is the next part? Next diagram is when you draw part B diagram, that is when a monochromatic beam of light is incident on an equilateral prism. Then for this is for minimum deviation, your refracted ray is parallel to base of prism, and then emergent is moving towards down. So there you have to mention angle of incidence, angle of deviation, angle of emergence, R1, R2, right, and delta. All these parts are important. Then one more thing is arrow. When you draw any ray diagram, arrows are important. If you miss any arrow, you will get 0 mark for this entire diagram. There is no half mark system. There is no 1 mark cut type system. There is entire mark you lose, right, for a single arrow. So just take care when you draw diagrams. The next part will be that I delta graph. When you plot that I delta graph, your angle of incidence is on x-axis and angle of deviation is on y-axis. The curve will be like this, Nike ka sign. Then just take care that then when it is at minimum deviation, we will mention delta is delta n. Your I is equal to E, right? Then you have that 2 numericals based on this part. That is very simple. Then when you go for next part, real and apparent depth, just draw that diagram properly. There is a diagram for bending of stick. That is very important diagram, bending of stick. There you just mention, draw properly when the actual stick is there in a water. From where it enters the water, from there it bends, and that part is dotted. That part will be dotted. So that is actual and real depth. Real and actual depth is the same, and apparent depth you have to mention properly. Then from where the images from the lines will be dotted, right? All that part is important. Then when a fish looking at a tree, right? So he is looking from denser to a rarer medium. The tree appears taller. That diagram is also this year they have asked this diagram in 2020, right? Now the next part is about TIR. Now when you do this part, it's a very important concept. Theory part I am not discussing. In the diagram of TIR, so first your source of light is in denser medium. So first ray will be going normally without any deviation. Then there is a little bending, right? That is I1, again for I2, and for I3 I have shown the critical angle, right? So critical angle, that refracted ray parallel to the surface XY, that is boundary. And after TIR, after that critical angle, there will be a TIR, right? When you draw this diagram for TIR, just take care that your angle of incidence, that is I4, and angle of reflection, that is R4 dash, are same, because here you are utilizing laws of reflection, and during laws of reflection, angle of incidence and angle of reflection are same, right? That is the thing. When you draw this diagram to bend light by 90 degree, turn light by 180 degree, erecting prism, just take care that you are drawing normal at each places. You are mentioning angle 90 degree, 45 degree, 45 degree, all that part, right? When you turn by 180 degree, you show that object and its inverted image, A dash B dash is the image, right? When you draw erecting prism, just draw that 2 lines, incident parallel and emergent light are also parallel, and just draw normal at 2 places. That is important. Then when you go with the complete the following diagram, just take care that your diagram is with arrow and you are mentioning that approximate value, right? When you say a 60 degree prism, 60 equilateral prism, it should look like a 60 only, and we are saying when 90 degree, so it should look like 90, it should not look like 60, right? That precaution you have to take. Then one more thing is arrow. Second thing is you have to mention all the angles, right? Especially to complete the path, right? Now when we go with the next part, that is the 5th chapter, there again you have to draw thin lenses, because whatever laws we are discussing or what you are studying, they are applicable only for thin lenses, not for thick lenses. So it is applicable only for thin, so that you have to take precaution. Next thing is what, when you draw these diagrams, is when you take say convex lens, so it has a real focus. So Say when the ray of light is incident obliquely, then image is formed at focal plane, right? So you are mentioning that image is there at focal plane, right? All alpha. Then when you go with the concave, it always form a virtual image. So just take care, f2 is mentioned properly, f1 is mentioned properly, right, in both convex and concave. Now there are 6 cases in case of convex lenses. Now that 6 cases I think I have already discussed, right? I'm just telling that part. When the last case is there, when the object is between f1 and o, your image is virtual and magnified. Just take care of that lens. When you draw diagrams for a concave lens, all the images are virtual, erect and diminished, right? So that precaution you have to take. Now friend, that's it for this video. If you like my content, please do subscribe my channel and put a thumb so that I will make some more videos regarding the studies. Thank you.